Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Grubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Welcome, everybody, to the Canine Detection Collaborative. I'm Robin Grubel, and I am here with Stacy Barnett.
Hello.
Who is traveling cross country because it's hard to schedule stuff when we're in the midst of prime dog season. And Crystal Wing.
Hi, guys.
And we just thought we would take the opportunity to sort of update everybody on what we've been up to for the last couple of weeks and reflect on all of the busy stuff that we have going on and all sorts of things. And I know it's, for me, we're just ramping up seminar season, and I've just come off of certifying 2 dogs. And I was walking around today as I was cleaning up from selling the baby goats, thinking I was exhausted.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
I'm
yeah.
getting it.
Right.
Getting it.
I miss you guys a
Yeah.
whole bunch, so I'm glad that we're actually having an episode because I haven't talked to either of you in so long. I'm like,
I
okay.
know.
So we're just really
I know.
taking advantage of chatting and just y'all are getting to join us.
Right. So, because in podcast land, one of the things that we do is we'll go through a spat of literally recording 6 or 7 episodes, like back to back to back to back. And then we're good for like 6 weeks. And then we start running into the fact that Stacy's traveling to trials and all sorts of things. And I'm off to certifications and, gearing up for Muscatatuck and all of this other stuff. And Crystal's got school and dogs.
End of the school year kicks my butt.
Yeah. And then she runs off to a IGP seminar, like at a drop of a hat notice. And we're all just kind of running around doing all sorts of interesting dog things.
So let's get to it. I want to hear I want to hear your certification. Like, tell me all about it.
Certifications. So Flair certified in March, at the end of March, for narcotics with the USPCA, and Dash certified yesterday. So this is, by the time you guys listen to this would have been Monday of this week. So Dash certified on Sunday, USPCA for explosives.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And they were kind enough to allow me to run Sheba kind of as a mock, because I knew where everything was, right? Because Dash found everything. Then I got to run Sheba as a mock search. And I was like, okay, here's the 3 things or 2 things that I need to work on with her. So those were a couple of big tabs.
Wow.
Closed in my head. Yeah. And
so last year, this time, there was a lot of nerves going into certifications, and I didn't really get to talk or hear this year how that went. Did you influence the room?
I did. And it also helped a bunch. Flair was more nerve-wracking than Dash because this was mine and Dash's 3rd certification. And the last time that the Bomb Dogs certified, I got to be the dog in white, or the mock test dog. And so I got to run through basically a mock certification with him in October.
Wow.
Right. So invaluable experience.
It's gotta be so hard when you don't get to do it very often. So, like when we trial, a lot of us, we might trial more often. And I find personally, the more frequently I trial, the better off I am. So that's going to be really hard because you're only certifying once a year.
Well, and for this side of it, if you don't certify, you don't get to go out the door.
Right. So then you have pressure on top of it.
So then you add all that pressure, and it's one of those things that I walked in a little bit this year, just kind of going, you know what? I'm back to the whole, I've done now, especially the explosive certifications, the narcotic certifications. And this sounds kind of weird, but it was only mine and Flair's second narcotic certification. So I still had a little bit of nerves and it went down the lead and it just took a while.
Yep.
And so, by next year, I'll have all of her rust knocked off and hopefully all my nerves under control and we'll be fine. That's the big thing with the narcotics and explosive stuff is that, if you don't certify, you can't go out to work.
Right.
So that makes things a little bit more real.
Yeah.
And, and the FEMA stuff is the same way. If you don't, and Nico's this year, if I certify for everything that I'm supposed to be certifying in, I will be going through 5 different certifications this year. Because Nico's got his FEMA certification, his land cadaver, and his water cadaver that he has to do yet. So, and then if I wanted to certify Sheba, that would be a 6. So I'm getting lots of certification practice this year.
Yep. But that's great, though. That's great because even though it's a different dog, I really think pressure kind of inoculates you a little bit, right? So
it does.
Yeah. I know for me, like the more dog, even though I might be trialing multiple dogs, like just the fact that I'm trialing multiple dogs, it helps each individual dog.
It comes back to the mental management.
Yeah.
A lot. And it also helps when you know the people who are setting up your certifications or your trials are not out to get you.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
And that's a huge component of training certifying officials.
Yeah.
I was just sharing a story at the weekend that I had. On Thursday, I heard from a couple of friends that they were driving through, and I'm like, wait, driving through where? And so I ended up the next day driving 5 hours to a seminar and kind of getting in last minute. So that's kind of how I work anyway. So that's pretty cool. But one of the stories that I was telling a friend there was she was talking about one of the judges that they regularly use. And I had to ask, I'm like, is this judge better now? Because when we had this judge there, they had something negative to say about every single dog that competed. They were not consistent. They took an extra day and made us pay for their, services for an extra day when they shouldn't have. And it made a really big impact, especially when you talk about, not having that many times a chance to certify. And with IGP, we have a trial a year. And we had 2 1 year, but for the most part, we have 1 trial a year. And so it's that same thing where you don't get the opportunity to do it often. So you put a lot of pressure on it. And then when you have a bad experience of a judge that comes in and they're, well, your dog is too fat and your dog is too fast and your dog is, it was every single dog. There was something negative to say about dog and handler. And it does put a bad taste in your mouth. And so then it's important to make sure that you can learn from others what judges and what organizations and those sort of things to be able to find the right people.
Yeah.
Because we don't need that. We're out here having fun and it's about, enjoying the sport and celebrating our dogs.
And life is hard enough.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of that self-reflecting thing on, competing with everybody and other stuff. And there was a post that came through my Facebook today that talks about often when we train dogs, the struggles that we're having with the dog or during our training often end up reflecting something larger that's going on in our own heads. And as I was doing chores and thinking about donkeys and, walking around doing stuff, that's also something that was kind of puttering around up in my noggin, was the whole concept of self-reflection. And dogs a lot of the time and what we're doing requires a lot of self-reflection and growth. And sometimes that's just not the most fun thing on the planet.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Like, I feel like for a while that I wasn't, like, my mindset wasn't as positive as it could or should have been for a while. And I like tried to make more recently kind of a purposeful shift in kind of what where my mindset is to something a little bit more positive, a little bit more optimistic, just in general. And I think it's helping me as a competitor. Doing a little bit of that reflection, I think, because I think you're right. It's like we can also like get kind of these blinders on, right? Where we don't, unless we like reflect a little bit and we kind of try to look at ourselves from the outside. I mean, that's powerful. We can kind of do that, and we can see things that maybe we weren't necessarily aware of. And once we become aware of something like that, then we can start to change it.
It's kind of interesting because
that's made a big difference for me lately.
Yeah, there's the Earl Nightingale quote, "Our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations." And I think that goes right from what you were saying. And that's something that I used in my webinar for this week. And it was about reflecting and about understanding kind of where you are, and your expectations are so much of what you allow. And those expectations and boundaries are so powerful. And when you start having strife or issues, just know that those are things that you allow. And so maybe it's been something slow over time. There was a great story that I got to go to Kelly Connell and Christian Gomez seminar for IGP, and they are amazing. Even if you're not an IGP person, if you're into obedience of any sort, Kelly is just phenomenal. You have to go to any of her seminars if you ever get the opportunity. But she talked a lot about the habits that we create. And she told kind of a fun story. I won't go through the whole story because she was like, I shouldn't even be sharing this, but you know how those go. We all do that. But she shared this great story about how the dog started pulling her out the back door. And she realized that when it was all said and done, she had trained her dog to do that because she allowed that expectation of, oh, I'm going to go a little faster. And each day got faster until, she actually hurt herself. And she's like, wait, why is this happening? And again, it's the idea that what's happening around us is a mirror of our expectations. And so we just have to think about how we want to adjust how our life is going. And if we don't like what's happening, just start looking around and seeing what it is you don't like. And that's almost probably 40% of what I tried to cover in my webinar this week was just looking at your space, looking at your life, looking at your relationship with your dog, and understanding that's the piece you have to look at and adjust. If you don't like what you're doing or you love what you're doing, keep doing it because you're doing great. Or what little change can you make to change that habit to make it easier on yourself and your dog? I mean, a simple thing of Checkmate right now just had his total hip replacement and he's 2.5 weeks out. And the little thing of he used to get the bowls for me. And it's such a big deal that I have to go climb into kennels now to get bowls. So those little, utilitarian behaviors that he does that's so helpful. Now I have to train Radish to do it. So now I'm getting her to go get bowls. And she's like, what is this? I'm like, you're a retriever. Shut up. Go get it.
So Crystal, when is that webinar and how do people register?
Yeah, it's a webinar.
I had a lot of fun making it. I got the opportunity Denise Fenzi has a school that Stacy teaches through. So most people are probably already really familiar with that. And Robin has a webinar coming up too. So
in August. So everybody should sign up for Crystal's because it's this week.
Yes, it's Thursday.
Thursday. It emphasizes the fun and functional obedience, and it's called Where the Rubber Meets the Road because I talk about kind of a relationship and reinforcement sandwich that has utilitarian behaviors and boundaries and expectations. And it was great fun recording. I got to use my green screen because my house was dirty, I'll be honest.
I have to say that, I mean, and I previewed your webinar, right? That has got to be the most entertaining webinar I think I've ever seen. And honestly, like I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, she just raised the bar on the rest of us. And I am looking forward so much to watching the whole thing.
It was great fun. I really I enjoy making stuff. And so I might have put a little extra effort into it than what some people are able to do that, when they get to do it all the time, it becomes something that you don't get to have as much time for the video production part of it. So, and I love creating.
Like, it was incredible. It looked like, to me, like this professionally.
You're so kind.
Professional production. I'm like, this isn't a webinar. This is like some video documentary. I'm like, oh my God.
I like to tell stories.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
That's the time on Thursday.
Yeah. So it's through the Fenzi Academy, and so, I'll put a link.
Yeah, Fenzi Dog Sports Academy. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Thanks, guys.
Go sign up. Amazing.
So that's what was taking a lot of my time.
Yeah. Stacy, what have you, since you're traveling, what have you been doing?
Yeah. I can't wait for this. I've been waiting so patiently.
Oh my God. I had an epic day yesterday. Epic day. So first of all, I have to say that I looked at my Facebook memories, and yesterday was 7 years to the day of my very first elite trial, and it was with Judd, and that actually was I think it was the third elite trial ever hosted by NACSW, and it was Union Grove, Wisconsin, and that was my very first time doing elite. And then yesterday, so it's 7 years to the day, Powder goes in. We were in Moncure, North Carolina, and she got a perfect 100 point. Which is exceedingly rare at the elite level, and she was pronounced in 3 out of 4 searches. So she was high in trial by a lot, and she's amazing.
Look at that little yellow kangaroo.
Oh my gosh. It felt like, when you get in the zone and you're doing something, right? That is how the entire trial felt.
You were in flow.
Yes, we totally were. And the best part, you guys know like what I went through to retrain her containers, right?
Yes.
So right? So I'm looking at the walkthrough the night before, and I'm like, oh, we have a container search. So when you do containers at the elite level, it's not just containers, it's containers on steroids. So when we got there, it turned out we were in a big gym, like a basketball court shaped big gym, right? And it was 60 containers.
Holy buckets.
They were randomly placed. Randomly placed. Little plastic toolboxes from the Dollar Tree, right? 60 of them scattered all over the gym floor, and some of them were up on chairs. So there were some chairs around with like some containers up, and then most of them were down. And there was really kind of no rhyme or reason. It was all random pattern. And then she said, all right, so the parameters were, we had 4 minutes to do the search, and it was unknown number of hides. So unknown number of hides may mean it's a blank search, you don't know, or it could have 8 hides, whatever. Yeah, unknown number of hides. So this is my dog who used to be, like, I used to like joke around that if she was an explosive detection dog, she'd have a very, very short career. She was very handsy, very, very handsy. And I completely retrained that. And now she has this beautiful nose freeze. So we haven't really had the opportunity to try like our Flexar container muscle in elite before yesterday. So she goes in, and wouldn't you know, my little yellow kangaroo, and of course she comes off the line like she's a powerful dog, right? She comes off the line, threshold box, freeze alert, perfect alert, right on a threshold box. We ended up finding 4 hides, and there were only 4. And I came out of there thinking, okay, I don't think there's any distractions or anything. So I'm like, all right, we found 4 hides. Turns out there were 8 distractions, 8 food distractions. I guess they were food. I don't know. She didn't tell us. I mean, some were, I know she mentioned potato chips, but she didn't really tell us the rest of them. So it could have been food, could have been toys, whatever. And I think our search time was, oh gosh, I'm actually going to look. Is that
you're saying 60 containers?
2 minutes and 40 minutes.
Nice. Here's me. I'm like, we had to do 18 paint cans with 6 odors, and I think we had there's 2 blank cans and all the rest have distractions in them, but you know,
Hey, yeah, right.
and don't touch the cans because they might blow up. Right.
So you
Yeah, right,
cleared
exactly.
you cleared 2.8 containers. Or it was 2.8 containers every, what was that? So 169 divided 60? Yeah, 2.81. That's nuts.
That's awesome.
What was all right? 2.81 per what?
Per second, right? Because it's 169 divided by 60, that's 2.81.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was doing some research and saw the dogs making decisions and dismissing odors in 300ths of a second.
Wow.
Whether it was the correct or incorrect odor. They were making a decision, identification, and moving on that fast. That became a whole new threshold of sniff and dismiss for me.
I'm just thinking about that large gym space and, having to move through all of that. It's averaging right at 2.8 seconds per container. But that's all the space to get in between each one too. So that's not like you're saying, I'm going to give you 3 seconds at a container. And that's also Stacy then being able to say, I'm confidently going to, say we're done here. She's got it.
Okay. So then in the afternoon, we had this large search area. It was kind of like it was a playground, and it was actually kind of interesting. It was like in the middle of the woods. So the wooded playground, there are all kinds of trees, and in the whole big area, it was very, very woodsy actually. And we were told 3 minutes, and we knew that there were 2 hides because at the elite level, usually in one of your searches, you'll know how many hides there are, which is not usually not always a great thing because it can cause you to feel some extra pressure trying to find all the hides. And sometimes you don't make the best decisions when you do that. And, there she was. I mean, she's this high-powered, very fast Labrador, right? And I put her on the start line, and I decided to go off leash. And I just, unclipped her, set her up, I released her, and there's my girl, man, hit a threshold hide outside off leash, and she just nailed it. I walked out of there, nailed the search. I walked out of there feeling like, wow, like training is really paying. And I have to tell you, I'm just like the whole day, I just felt so, you ever feel like that? Like you feel like in awe of your canine partner, right? And I just felt like really humbled just holding her leash. Like I'm so proud of her, and she's just such a wonderful girl, and she tries so hard. And the heart that is in that dog, like it's just amazing. And then the best part of the day, I have to say this is the best part. I was there with 2 of my very good friends and students who got their elite champions, both there. And these are dogs that I've known them since they started this journey, and to see them be so successful with their dogs. Valerie and Lauren, you know who I'm talking about, right? You guys, a little shout out. You guys are just amazing, and I am so happy that I got to be there for your final elite trial and to see both of you be so successful. I really get like teary-eyed, and that was it was just a perfect day. So, between Powder just being just the amazing dog she's getting stronger with every trial, and I'm just so excited. I mean, she only has one more elite trial left, and then she's got her champion. But and then to have my friends there, anyway, it was just a really amazing day.
It was
fabulous.
It's always interesting to listen to other people describe what it feels like when everything's hitting on all cylinders and when your dog, and then I'm over here getting goosebumps because I'm like, I know that feeling.
Yeah, it was just amazing. It was like, I felt like I found them all, and actually, I can't wait to share this one video in my NW485, the airflow class. the last search of the day, we had some crazy thermals going on with the trees were kind of in like this, kind of like an angle, right? So there was two lines of trees that came together at a point, and we had the sun kind of going back and forth between. We had sun and clouds, and a lot of sun, and then a little bit of cloud, and then really low wind speed. And we had a hide on this bench that was downwind of this big playground structure that was also in play in addition to the pavilion. And the trapping odor that just, I mean, Powder, we spent a lot of time in there, and, you know, she didn't alert on any of the trapping odor or anything, but she was like, yeah, there's odor here. And she just had a whole lot of intensity there. But the odor was pretty complicated, really complicated there. And then we spent probably way too much time in that part of the search area, then moved to the pavilion, and she banged out 4 hides, like boom, 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 boom. But it was a really, like, just a cool search just from an odor perspective. It was really cool. It was a great day. It was a really great day.
Yay. And it's always so fun to hear about the, you know, even, you know, we're on certification number 3, right? With Dash. And I'm watching odor move, and I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. And it's just very, very interesting to think about how I posted this too. I was like, you know, good certifications or good trials or those sorts of things will still, whether you pass, even when you pass, still show you holes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that now I've just started going, okay, this is something we need to work on. So for next year, it will go a little bit better. And certified doesn't mean done.
Nope.
I think that's the expectations are so important. What you just said there is go into a certification, go into a trial with the expectation that you're going to learn. And I think that's key right there, is when you know that I'm going here to find out where my holes are, because I'm not, this is where I actually get to test all this amazing training I've been doing. And it's a true test of someone else setting it up, someone else having the ideas. And it's all coming together. But I think those expectations you just said are so incredibly important, because if you go in expecting to win and expecting, you know, I want to win, but I expect to learn. So I think there's a difference there.
Yeah. And even if, you know, hey, we got a perfect score, but that doesn't mean we had perfect searches, right?
Right.
And so even if you find all the hides, which, I mean, is a complete rarity in elite, by the way. The average, I just want to say that the average score, because people might be thinking, oh, it's a perfect score, but, you know, like, it was a 69. That was the average. I mean, it was not an easy trial. But even if you find all the hides and you get a perfect score, it doesn't mean that everything was perfect. So if I think back to that last search, I spent so much time in that trapped odor that what it did, what I learned from that is that I need to learn how to move out of that faster. So that was my big takeaway from that search, you know, and I think every time we search with our dogs, we always need, even if we're training or if we're trialing or if we're doing certification or you're training or whatever, you know, you always want to be looking at what can I learn from this experience. And even if it's a really great experience, you can still learn from a great experience, or you can learn from mistakes. Learn from both, you know, and having that open mindset is so important. It really is.
And I do want to pick on something else you said, and that's when you were really talking about being so proud of your friends and your students. I think that I really felt that so hard in my core this weekend, is getting to spend the weekend watching my friends get out there and train in front of strangers and put their holes out there in front of everybody and go, you know what, this is where I go. I go to seminars to people that I trust because I know that they're good teachers. And I'm going to put myself out and show everybody this is what I need help with. And so everybody else can also learn from, what I'm going through. And I'm so in awe of my friends. And I love that you also, that same kudos, that same feel. And it's so, I don't know, a lot of times I feel like that's even stronger somehow. I guess it's so much, you feel it in your soul, but you also feel it for the other person. So I think that's why it makes it so much amplified. And it's even cooler because they're your students and your friends. So that's an extra whoa.
They are very, very special people, and they run very, very special dogs. And it's just, I can't tell you how amazing it was to be there with them. I knew it was going to be a good day because I knew they were going to be there, and I knew what they were up for. It was just going to be amazing. I knew that was going to be a good day. I knew it was going to be a good day. And I had a super, super cool experience on the way down and on the way back. Stopped off to work with Tazzy.
Oh, yes, do tell.
Yes.
Yeah, her. Another shout out. She is just phenomenal. She's opening my eyes to kind of really a different domain. And looking to see what I can learn from a completely different perspective and things that I haven't learned about a lot of this stuff, right? And how I can then apply that to my own girls, right? And I've worked with her a couple of times so far, and it's been really eye-opening. And on top of her just being oh my gosh, the training chops on Tazzy, whoa, right? Killer training chops.
What are your biggest ahas?
I think a lot of it has to do with learning how to channel drive. And, she talks a lot about capping drive. In the world I move in, we don't hear those phrases a lot. And I know both of you do. It's something that I just don't get exposed to. But I have these high drive dogs, and I'm seeing how, some slightly different techniques can help to channel some of, she calls it the leaking. You guys all know this, right? The leaking, you guys,
yes.
Both of you know this, things about leaking drive. Things that I can start to do to try to avoid that, and then figure out how to utilize toy rewards in a way that can help minimize some of that, and also some other things, right? To really kind of work towards channeling some of that drive, and also to avoid leaking out. I'm picturing my dogs as kind of like this,
a big sieve.
Yeah. Or the car thing that, Crystal, you're talking about your dogs as cars in the webinar. I'm picturing them as this car and this dripping oil all the way through. I'm that's kind of in my mind about this, leaking drive. And I'm okay, we got to plug up that leak. So there's that, and I'm learning a lot, and a lot of different things about approaching Brava's vocalization, right? Talk about leaking drive. We're kind of getting into some of that. There's a lot to do with how I can start to use the toy reward a little bit more. When you grow up in the nosework world, where food reward is the norm, you do what you know. And I have dogs that actually really, really value toys. So, I'm doing a lot of exploration, doing a lot of learning, and so it's been a whole lot of fun, spending some time with her, one-on-one with the girls. She's fabulous.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
You gave me a fun visual. I know you talked about, I think you said Powder was, what was Powder? Was a Shelby Mustang or something?
Oh, no, that's Prize. Prize is my Shelby Mustang. Yeah,
okay.
A green Shelby Mustang.
That's what it was. What, did you decide what Brava is?
Brava, you know what? I kind of picture her as a Hummer with these big fancy ribs, right? And she's got those the lights that like shine up the ground, right?
Right.
What do they call those? Like the ground effects.
Okay.
Ground effects. So she's got ground effects in hot pink, and she's playing some really kind of loud music. Probably one of her, and she's a softy little girl. So that's what she is.
I was hoping you was going to say that she was some sort of sports car, because when you were talking about the leaking drive and you use the oil reference, but then Brava is more of a vocal, and I was picturing backfiring. When you hear like the so
we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to avoid backfiring.
But that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I had a great visual about that, where you can almost hear like the car like like the backfire that happens.
Oh yeah, maybe I need to modify my maybe modify.
I was almost seeing her like as this really beautiful, sleek, like Harley or motorcycle, and
oh maybe I was just picturing them like there's got to be something kind of very like a little extra, That's why I went with like the big rims and the hot pink ground effects, which is very extra. Powder's my European sports car, Definitely European sports car.
Okay, yeah. Robin, what's Nico?
I was just thinking Nico. Nico is like a fully tricked out high-end Jeep.
Oh, with like the snorkel and everything?
The snorkel and everything. He, not really graceful running over a rubble pile, but he'll get her done. And he's just a workhorse. Now, the only thing that I don't like about that particular analogy with him is that he is really fast.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously a souped up Jeep.
Souped up. It's got the nitrous.
It's more like the dune, like the kind that's like going over the dunes.
It might be a dune.
Like
he might be a sleek black dune buggy.
Yeah.
So
with a windshield.
Yeah.
Actually, he probably doesn't have a windshield with all the
no windshield,
barbed wire and stitches, and
windshield.
You just gotta pay real close attention.
Bare bones, just the braces.
Yeah, you're actually right. He is a dune buggy. Now that you say that, he's a dune buggy.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Sheba? What's Sheba?
Oh, Sheba is
something with really fast feet, though.
You ain't kidding. No, she's probably close to my European sports car.
Yeah,
because she's just speedy.
Yeah,
and she corners really well, but sometimes her brain isn't caught up yet. So
and she has excellent brakes. I've seen her hit odor and just slam down. So she's got great stopping, great acceleration.
Well, and for as fast as her feet are, the statue that she turns into when she's on odor is breathtaking for me. I'm like, wow, holy, because I think it's just very clear for her. Odor means stop everything. And I've been introducing her to a lot of odors lately. And one of the things that happens is if she isn't quite sure, the processing time from the brain to get to the butt for the sit doesn't quite happen very fast. And so there's she's standing and staring. And so I just wait. But her stand and stare is stock still, like doesn't move. And then you can see her, she kind of cocks her head a little bit and she pushes her nose back in and then she offers the sit. And I'm like, okay, that'll work. Wow. But when you've been introduced to a bunch of odors in the last 4 weeks, sometimes your Rolodex is kind of broken. So,
with her stillness, she's probably a hybrid.
That could be.
Because the way that when they go to the stoplight, and then all of a sudden the car just shuts off.
Oh, and then they the engine turns off and then it starts up again.
Yeah. And then as soon as the click comes, whoa, right back up again. So she's definitely some sort of hybrid too.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
You want to know what Y is?
Oh, wait. I want to think about it. Wait. Why? Oh my
I
gosh.
have a perfect one for him.
Okay. Share.
He's a Mini Cooper.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
I
is
can
pro.
so see him. Yes.
He's a Mini Cooper. And when he breaks down, he's really expensive to fix. So
I get
I've
that.
had a lot of vet things lately. Yeah, a lot of vet things lately. Yeah, he's a Mini Cooper.
Is it a Mini Cooper with lots of bumper stickers?
Mhm. Yeah.
All the Stacy's visited, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Dash is my Suburban.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see
he's
that.
very not can be speedy if needed, but kind of like slow and steady. I'll just take it and we'll traverse all the different things.
And they do seem to go forever too.
Yeah.
They're dependable.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of him.
Yeah. And it's like full of like lacrosse equipment and hockey, you know, and soccer equipment, like all that.
Bless his little heart. He carries a lot of my baggage.
Yes,
oh my gosh, he does.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
He's got the rooftop cargo carrier.
He does. And he's like, okay, fine, Mom. And, you know, he does some stuff to this day. And I look at him and I'll be like, I remember when I taught you that when you were 6 months old. I'm an idiot.
It's covered with a little Iowa dust.
Yeah.
Which never comes off.
Yep. It's okay.
I think I still have Iowa dust on my trailer from last year.
You're probably right. Yeah, the wind out here just kind of never really stops.
Yeah.
It's like the white glue.
It is.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. I looked at it and I'm like, that's Iowa dust. I'm like, that's 6 months old.
Crystal,
Yeah?
give us an update on Check.
Oh,
Yes.
you guys. So I'm actually going to share a video here in a few minutes. He feels better than he did before surgery.
Yay!
And it's just so much hope.
No way.
And
Really?
oh yeah, okay. So it's,
Wow.
we're dog people, so we can talk about this because we talk about poop and pee for dogs because that's what you do. But
Oh, yeah.
one of the things that I was so excited about was already at 2 weeks, he's standing. So the right leg is the one he just had done, and he's already standing on his right leg to pee. So he's putting all of his weight on it. But then after he pees, he does this whole like dig thing, where he like throws the grass to cover it up, which is always funny to me because they're not covering anything up. They're like, whatever. So I'm sure there's some other reason for that.
I think it's another version of marking.
Yeah, kind of leaving that odor from it. Yeah. So, and then I'm like messaging, poor Kim in Ohio. I'm like, is this okay? Like he's standing on that leg only and he's kicking and, I'm like, cause he can't run, he can't jump. Like we have to be cause the bone has to secure to that, prosthetic. And, he's got his, acetabulum is, completely hollowed out with a, cemented socket in there. And, so it takes 8 weeks for the bone to heal. But it was at 14 days, he was supposed to start doing 5-minute walk, 1 5-minute walk each day. And it was at 11 days. And she's like, yeah, please take him for a walk. I'm like, thank you.
Wow.
So starting tomorrow, we start doing 2 5-minute walks. And he is just ready to go, but I have him so drugged just to keep it so that he isn't hurting himself. He's on ACE and gabapentin and trazodone and just all of that. That
sounds like it'd be really trippy.
Well, you would think that, but he's just having a good time of things.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. I am so happy for you and for Check, and I can't wait to see the new and healed up Check this summer. You know what I mean? Like that's just going to be so cool.
Seeing him all healed up and like getting ready.
Yes.
I can't wait to see him do at least little jumps.
It's going to answer a lot of training questions for me. So I'm really happy for him to not be in pain. So just to see how much happier he is, also trippy, but just happy and not hurting so much. But I'm, as a trainer, my side of it, there's so many things in the last 5 years with him where I go, is it because he hurts? Is it because,
Right.
he can't do that? And so there's so many question marks that I've had. And then in the evenings, he gets real grumpy because he hurts. And so it's always in the evening, we just know, like, Checkmate, you go over there and lay down and just, you're fine. We won't ask you to do anything. Like, you just be a little boy. And so I'm really curious to see how much we can grow together. And I'll finally kind of know who the dog is that I really have. And I think that he's going to really shine. And I'm super excited from the trainer side of it, from the caregiver side of it, and obviously most excited just for him to not be hurting anymore. But he loves to train.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to give him the opportunity to train more, which that also is going to make both of us happy. Because it's one thing when you have 3 dogs and, they're, you got Malinois, a Dutch Shepherd, and a Dutch Lab. And and you train all your dogs and you're like, come on, guys, like, can somebody go do something with me? It's like, I shouldn't be able to outlast 3, pointy ear inside kind of dogs because, Yukon's always, kind of injured from something and Checkmate's been down and, and I didn't want to push Radish too much and she shouldn't carry the weight of the other 2. So,
Right.
So it'll be exciting.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's so great.
Well, and now that I've closed like these 2 certification tabs, it's kind of like I still have Sheba's certification tab hanging out there.
How does that work? Are they able to ever, like, if you have 2 dogs, do they set up different scenarios or something?
That was actually the reason I couldn't test Sheba, because they would have had to set up a whole brand new test.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And And I was like, you know what? No, she's 14 months old, 15 months old. She can wait.
Yep.
I have some additional rough spots I can knock off out of her for cars, and we need to do a bunch more blanks and things like that. So,
and give you a chance to learn her more. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't worth me pushing it.
How did she get that old? I'm sorry. Wasn't she just a tiny puppy?
She was. I have a picture on my phone of her, and I'm like, that was her being a little like cashew peanut, like a potato. and now she's like a whole casserole. So I'm like, that's not right. But it was funny. I had her out, and one of the deputies looked at me and said, "Wow, how old is she?" I'm like, "She's 14 months." He's like, "She's really tiny." And I looked at him and said, "She's British." Like, that should answer everything. But yeah, she's probably going to mature out right at about 50, 52 pounds at the that's like being kind of chunky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
that's the size of my girls. I love that size. That is
wow.
Like,
so Radish is bigger than all of your girls?
Yeah, my girls don't get any bigger than about 52 pounds. My 3 girls.
Because I think Radish is right at 57 pounds, like fighting weight. And I just look at her and I think she's so little.
Radish is kind of buff. She's bigger, than my girls. And Radish is...
She didn't miss leg day.
She did not miss leg day.
Yeah, she just carries muscle well. She's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, she's pretty built. So
yeah, I took we were doing annual heartworm tests, right? And so I took Ray in, who is getting ready to turn next month on Memorial Day. She will be 13.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. When did that happen?
No kidding. She weighed a whole 52 pounds today. And I looked at her and said, "I've been feeding you like you're fat." And she's like, she's perfect weight, which of course means I'm feeding her appropriately, because Joe also happens to, we had shrimp last night and she got like shrimp tails. And,
my dog loves shrimp tails.
And I look at the stuff that Joe puts down. They're the pre-wash cycle for all of our dishes. I'm like, okay, Joe, now I know. Yes, Ray, now I'm feeding you like you're fat. Jenks, I have to feed like he's even more fat because he's chubby.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Brava got spayed, so now I'm looking at her like, ooh, she's gained a little feet.
Yeah, Yukon, after he got neutered, he looks at food, or like food is in the room, and he gets fat.
Yeah. Well, I was so much less. And there's a woman who has Brava's half brother, which, by the way, they sound the same. Like he was on the start line in agility, and she's walking up to the agility area, and they sounded the same. And somebody said to me, they're like, "Are they related?" I'm like, "Yeah." Half sibling. So, but she looked at Brava, and she's like, "Oh, chunking out," and I'm like, She's like, "No, she's not fat. I just want her to get any heavier." I was like, "I know." I know. Brava is like, I've cut her food, and she's really not happy with me right now.
I think it's fascinating. Really? So like Yukon is my tallest, biggest dog, and he eats 1 pound in the morning and 6 ounces in the evening. Checkmate, even on crate rest, gets 2 pounds a day. And he's like maintaining, and that's with complete crate rest. And then Radish, she eats 2 pounds, 8 ounces, and she's my smallest dog.
Wow.
So it's just insane. I mean, I'm serious. He looks at food and gets fat. Poor guy.
That sounds kind of like me, but anyway.
I'm like sitting here like, hey, I resemble that remark.
Hashtag attacked. I know, same.
Well, okay. So ladies, what are the big exciting things that are coming up in the next month or two for you guys?
I'm coming to Iowa.
I know.
Yay! Well, Indiana, right? Muscatatuck, right?
Muscatatuck.
Yay! I'm already thinking about June.
So we do have Muscatatuck in like 3 weeks. There's still some spots open for, if you're a nose work handler and you want to come, you're allowed to register for working spots. And cadaver dog handlers, we have space open for you too. So go out to the Canine Census website. We'll put something in the show notes. And then I know Crystal's coming up. Yay. We've got a systematic search weekend, and then we've got the art and science of setting hides weekend in Iowa. We've got 3 baby donkeys for everybody to hang out with.
Oh, I couldn't believe all baby donkeys. That was crazy.
All baby donkeys like in a week. I've got 3 baby donkeys that all came in.
That's one of my favorite things when I was up visiting last time. Be doing something or like sleeping or just waking up or pottying a dog. And here comes Robin running out of the house screaming, "Baby donkey, baby donkey."
And yes, that usually means we have a brand new baby donkey. We've got 3 more on the way. Hopefully. Yeah. So, and I've got hunt test schedule training, not testing, not ready to actually like do bird stuff with the dogs yet. But actually setting those up, in conjunction with all of the other detection dog stuff and getting Nico ready for certification and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
Oh, and a building. So.
And a building.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. That's like.
Oh, yeah. They got all the trusses up today, and I was like,
oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah. Freaky. So I've been taking pictures at some point when we kind of get a gross, like they're probably going to start putting the roof on tomorrow.
Wow.
I know. I'll take pictures and create an album out on Facebook for people. So
Nancy was sending me some picture updates, and she's like, "You're going to have to find a new place to live this summer."
Yeah. Your house is not going to, your backyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. She's like, "Where are you going to put the dogs? Where are the kennels going to go?" I'm like, I'm not worried.
Eminent domain. She overtook your yard. Eminent domain going on over there.
By the time you get here,
I might have to move over by the chickens and live in the dozer barn.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing to, I don't know if there'll be much once we get all this stuff cleared out for major construction. We still have to finish the inside. That's going to be a lot this summer.
Yeah.
I mean, if the building's ready to go by this fall, I'll be excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
I have exciting things coming up.
Yes.
So, the webinar, which I'm like nervous, excited about. But
I
then
can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch. I can't wait.
You're so kind. And then on I think like May 10th, remember when we had Emily Lawrence on the show?
Yes.
Well, she is coming to town and on her way to compete in Boston. And she's doing a tracking seminar here. So that's anyone that's interested. I think we have 3 spots left for working. But the cool thing is,
we also virtual option.
Yes, we
right?
offered a virtual option. And I got inspired from one, I think it was on Clean Run, that they were, like, here, we're going to do virtual. And so she's going to have lunch lectures, and we're going to live stream the lunch lectures so that you can do Q&A during that time. And then we're going to record as very much as we possibly can of all of the instruction and working spots. And we're going to post all of that, and then you'll have access as long as I'm alive.
Nice.
So I guess I'll call it lifetime access because it's my lifetime.
Crystal's lifetime access.
There you go.
So we'll have all that posted, and I'm really excited, and I want so many people to join in on that because it can help SAR people with, if they're trying to really get their tracking, tighter. It can help IGP people. I'm just so stoked because she has such great insight and the amount of help that she gave us in the time that she was here. And she just is so passionate about everything. So I'm really, really excited about that.
What about like AKC tracking people? Would it help that too?
Anytime you're trying to get your dog to understand corners, to put their nose down, if they get off track, what do you do? That's all the concept she teaches. Now it's tight. Like IGP is footstep to footstep, but it's just like anything we train. Like I typically train things way more intensely than what I even use for competition. So I would say yes. And I think she would say yes as well, because it teaches a lot of problem solving.
Yep.
So that's where,
I like new trackers, like people who haven't tracked before.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm really excited about.
Yes.
We have 3 of the working spots are people that have never tracked before, and they have been so tracking curious. And I'm super stoked because they get to learn it from the best straight away. And so they don't have to go and try to find different people and different methods. Like they can just learn it right away and understand what it's all about. So I'm really excited about that.
Wow.
How about you, Stacy?
I may have to sign up. I may have to do the virtual option and sign up for that.
Ooh, yes, please.
I'm really interested. Yeah, I'm really interested in tracking Brava now because, she doesn't have enough to do.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. And you don't either. So there's that.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't either. I don't either. But she already, honestly, I see her tracking when we're searching, and I'm like, little girl, but I might as well capitalize on that and teach her how to track. So
I just can't decide which dog I'm going to take a working spot with. I'm really like, ugh. So yeah, that's my, so that's something else in the web, if you take it, you might be able to see one of Stacy's dogs and you'll see at least one of mine. So.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'll be virtual. But,
oh, that's right. That's right. But you'll see one of my dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
I will see one of your dogs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I don't think I couldn't get out there.
So, Stacy, what are you up to?
Oh, I've got some trialing coming up. I'm looking forward to Muscatatuck. Obviously, I think as far as like trials, assuming he keeps points, he'll get his Elite 2, believe it or not, at his next trial.
Woo-hoo.
And Prize is not entered yet, but she just needs one more for Elite 1. And Powder, she's staring down Elite Champion with one more trial. So, my dogs are kind of on the edge of some big titles. Brava, we're doing some agility, and I'm just so excited. I started trialing at the suggestion of a very good friend of mine about 6 months ago, and right now we are everything excellent except for jumpers. We need 2 open jumper cues, and she'll be totally an excellent. And it's really exciting for me. It's a sport I've always wanted to do, but I never really had the right dog for it. And Brava is like the perfect dog to learn on, honestly. So we're doing a little bit of agility also. So it's trialing, doing network trialing, and some agility, and then the Muscatatuck coming up, which I'm super stoked about. So just really, really excited about.
Excellent.
So that's what I've got going on. So.
Well.
Nice.
Ladies, thank you so much. It was so nice to just kind of like actually
I
hang
miss
out.
you guys. What
I
a
know.
nice time to see you guys.
I know, right?
Yay.
I know.
So
And here I am, like hurtling down the highway in a tin can, and
busy women will have that sometimes of just making
yeah,
it work.
right?
So
Thanks for being
That's
safe and
right.
stay safe.
yes, everybody, thank you so much for listening in. We greatly appreciate every single one of you every week spending some time with us. We would love to hear what you're going to be up to for the next couple months. So please share what you're doing on the social media posts and where you're going to be, especially if you're going to see one of us at one of the things we just mentioned, because we'd love to meet you in person. And we forgive you when you approach us and act like you know us. And
I had that happen this weekend. That freaked me out. They're like, how's Checkmate? I'm like, yeah.
do I know you? Yeah.
I'm an oversharer, so whatever.
Yeah. So if we
My own
give you
fault.
a weird look when that happens, that's what's going on. It just takes our brain a little bit of time to catch up. So thanks everybody for listening, and go train.
Canine Detection Collaborative! We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.